I am going to show a quick video from your friends, the producers of Memphis, and a short video message, and then I'm going to bring up George Alvord, who is a board member for the Orpheum, to talk about Pat's contribution to the Orpheum and what he's meant to the Orpheum. And then Kevin Kim will come up and speak about how Pat's contribution to the Orpheum has affected Memphis and the tourism in our city. So congratulations.
There's no place like Memphis, the overflowing southern hospitality where the Mississippi River serves as a welcome mat. The sound of soul, blues, and rock and roll calling you home. There's a big Broadway musical that celebrates our city and everything that makes it great. The people, the passion, and the music that rocks the world. The name of this show is Memphis.
Where all the streets are paved with soul. Down here there's a honeycomb bar. There's a way of blues guitar. And a tear drop a dime in a blind man's jar. Blues sing softly in the air.
Hey Pat, sorry I can't be there to help you celebrate your Communicator of the Year award in Memphis. I mean, who is a better communicator in Memphis than you? But I'm here with our awards from Memphis, the Tony's, the Outer Critics, everything. So if you were here, we could add your award to our award array here from the great show that you helped us create. And we would have been able to do it without you, so congratulations.
Run rough. There comes a point when a man has had enough, like a friend who always stands by me. Yeah. Memphis knows when Memphis knows
Am I too loud?
There's no place like Memphis. So welcome, Matt.
Now there's a voice that's never forgotten in this town, Pat Halloran. So, good afternoon, I'm George Alvord. I have been involved with the Orpheum for about 25, 26 years, both as a patron and on the board, and former chairman of the board. And I'm also was involved when I was the CEO of Dobbs Houses, Dobbs International here, and most recently as owner, a majority owner of Lenny's Sub Shops. So they've asked me to bring sandwiches, but they wouldn't let me bring them in the hotel. I just don't know. So I have about 40 sandwiches out in the car. But first, I'd like to introduce some of the family, the Halloran family, and I'd like you to stand, please. Ann Halloran, his lovely wife. So, and I'd like to, from a time standpoint of view, ask the rest of the family to stand. Come over here, come on. So, back there is Ann's sister. In addition to that, I'd like to ask that the Orpheum staff that's here to support Pat and an integral part to our success, the staff, stand, please. And our Orpheum board members, we have a couple of them here, Andy Kelly and Joe Lamel, if you two stand. Joe, come on. There he is, yeah, good. And then, okay, who is that? Oh, hey, good to see you. So, all right, well, dear distinguished colleagues and guests, under Pat Halloran's 30 years plus of leadership in our and your historic Orpheum Theater, our Orpheum Theater has grown into a world-class performing arts center recognized by Broadway, as you saw the Broadway producers of Memphis there in the video, as a theater that is considered one of the best managed theaters in North America by the Broadway community. Additionally, we have seen we're recognized and seen as a visionary model of innovation by reinventing ourselves as a successful, diverse performing arts education center. We have grown from small patronage of hundreds to near 300,000 patrons annually. Under Pat's leadership, we have experienced every major touring show possible. Les Mis, Cats, Phantom, Miss Saigon, Beauty and the Beast, Wicked, Memphis, Memphis, Memphis. When I saw that video, it sent chills to my body. So, no comments, please. So, to make this happen, our theater has had many small and large renovations, supported by generous donations from many of you here in this room and the Memphis community in itself. One of our more recent innovations is the area of student theater and education programs. In the past 10 years, we have grown from 0 to over 50,000 students annually that participate in a variety of performing arts and youth development workshops. One of the workshops and one of the things we do is High School Musical Awards. It is phenomenal. 26 different schools come and compete. It's like the mini Academy Awards, mini Tony Awards, and they award all sorts of categories, and it makes you cry before you leave. To see all these kids participate in what's great shows that they're doing, and that's not only from Memphis, it's Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas, and we had 26 shows this past year, and it was just phenomenal. Studies show that arts keep kids in school. It teaches creative thinking, the arts, and provides enhanced career opportunities and creative employees. To that note, Mr. Halloran and the Memphis Development Foundation have recently announced the new Orpheum Education Center to be built adjacent to the Orpheum with the goal of providing multiple education programs to over 100,000 students a year. And that will be built on the parking lot, which is now owned by the Memphis Gas, Light, and Water. I know we have a representative here from Memphis Gas, Light, and Water. So this certainly is visionary. It's an example of just one of the many accomplishments that our Orpheum and our Memphis Development Foundation has achieved under Mr. Halloran's leadership. Not to mention the positive impact financially and other on the city of Memphis and Shelby County. I think our colleague Kevin Kane is going to talk a little bit about that. On a more personal note, Pat Halloran is a native Nebraskan. He graduated from the University of Nebraska. He received his master's degree from the University of Miami. He was assistant dean of men at the university, and he also was an executive director of one of the national fraternities here in Memphis. He founded Big Brothers and Big Sisters. In 1977, Halloran was selected as the outstanding young man of Memphis. Later that year, he was recognized as an outstanding young man of Tennessee. He served in 1976 to 1979 on the Memphis City Council, and was a candidate for City of Mayor. Now that brings up an interesting story. So now, but Pat Halloran says it's not interesting. Kevin, you're going to tell that story, okay? Kevin's going to tell that story. He does it better than I do. Halloran is past. What was that for? Halloran is past chairman of the Memphis Convention and Business Bureau's Board of Directors and past board member of the Memphis in May International Festival, the Memphis Shelby County Music Foundation. Halloran represents the state of Tennessee as a strong arts partner and by founding current president board member of Independent Producers Network. One of the things that's innovative for us is that we have taken a whole different approach in running a regional theater, in that we've gotten involved in New York. Pat's gotten involved in New York. He's president of the Independent Producers Network, and that gives us a leg up in getting shows into Memphis, Tennessee. If it wasn't for that involvement, we probably wouldn't be doing as well as we do, and that is just a phenomenal thing. Further, we invest, not only board members, we have Joe Lamel's an investor, I'm an investor in Memphis, and the Orpheum Theater as such invests in Memphis and other Broadway shows. That again gives us at least some priority in getting those shows into Memphis, Tennessee. Further, in 1999, the Broadway League, the National Trade Association for the Broadway Industry, presented Halloran with the Broadway Executive Award of 2002. Halloran was elected to the Board of Governors of Broadway League in 2011. Governor Haslam presented Halloran with the Governor's Award for Arts Leadership. That's a very significant award here in Memphis and in the state of Tennessee. Something that's always impressed me is Pat Halloran has been the recipient of 3 Tony Awards, which is highly unusual unless you're in New York City all the time. So he's gotten 3 Tony Awards, most recently for his involvement in the Memphis musical. He's also played a key role in raising $14 million for that Memphis production, which took about 5 or 6 years, maybe 4 or 5, from the very first time the show was done in California to Broadway was about 4 or 5 years. That's how long it took to get to Broadway, and that's why you have to raise a lot of money to get these Broadway shows to be existing. On a personal note, I have worked with Pat for over 25 years. He's a communicator extraordinaire. He's a great fundraiser. He's an exceptional PR man. He's a true leader with a great gift to get me and many others to write significant checks to the Orpheum Theater before we realize what the heck is going on. Lucius, is that not true? So now that is communicating extraordinarily and extraordinaire. On behalf of the Memphis Board of Directors, the Foundation, Memphis Development Foundation, the Orpheum Board of Directors, we congratulate the Public Relations Society chapter for selecting Pat Halloran, and of course, we congratulate Pat Halloran for this achievement. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Kevin Kane. Coupons will be passed out of the door on the way out.
Thank you, George. You know, well, first of all, on behalf of both of our mayors who could not be here this afternoon, they want to extend their congratulations, Pat, to you and all you've meant to this great city and county in your almost 4 decades living, calling Memphis home. Back to that story about when Pat ran for mayor. You know, Pat obviously is surely deserving of this award, because I don't know a better communicator in Memphis than Pat Halloran. But believe it or not, there was a time in his career when he was caught speechless with the TV cameras rolling at a mayoral debate on Channel 5 in a mayoral election. And what happened was they lined all the candidates up in alphabetical order, and next to Halloran was a young candidate named Hodges, Prince Mongo Hodges. And Mongo had been in the hospital on his deathbed, and all the other candidates were breathing a sigh of relief because actually they were afraid the debate was going to become a little bit of a sideshow with his antics and talking about Zambodia and other planets and what he would do as mayor of this city. So before the debate started, everyone had breathed a sigh of relief that Mongo was incapacitated and was not going to be there. Well, lo and behold, right when it was almost on air, a live television debate to hundreds of thousands of people in the city of Memphis, here comes Mongo off of his deathbed into the Channel 5 studios and pulls up to his seat right next to Pat Halloran. And Mongo turns to Pat and says, "Spirit, I think I'm too ill. I may have to get out of this race. But you're the only person that thinks like I do. So before I get out of the race, I'm going to endorse you as the man who should be the next mayor to lead the city of Memphis." Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Halloran was speechless. But all kidding aside, Pat, you are what we wish all Memphians would be. A tireless cheerleader for his community. Someone who wears Memphis on their lapel every day. I love Memphis. See, this was a grassroots effort started by one. When after constantly hearing people complain about what was wrong with our city, Pat Halloran said, "You know what? I'm tired of all this negativity, and I'm going to use my pulpit at the Orpheum Theater stage to start telling 2,300 people every night over 200 days a year what's right about Memphis and what's good about Memphis." And he started single-handedly the I Love Memphis campaign that, ladies and gentlemen, I think helped lead to things like AutoZone Park, the Memphis Grizzlies relocating here, and yes, a Broadway show carrying the name of our hometown that didn't win one but won 4 Tony Awards and was voted the best musical in all of Broadway. That's because of the power of one. That's because of someone who believes in what they believe in, and Pat Halloran believed that the city of Memphis was a lot better than all the negativity that was going on in our community. You know, Pat served in the city council. He's been at the Memphis Development Foundation for over 30 years. He loves this city. And what the Orpheum is doing now, and I know George touched upon it, but it's now beyond just bringing Broadway shows to our community. It's reinvesting in the youth in our community. It's reinvesting in Memphis. It's reinvesting in people that otherwise might not have a chance to fulfill their dreams and their aspirations. But once again, it gets back to that power of one, and it's using the God-given communication skills that he has so wonderfully developed over his lifetime to make Memphis a better place. You know, on a personal note, 20 years ago, he hired me to take over the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I can tell you that he used those communication skills to prop me up for interviews with the mayors, prop me up with interviews with a very diverse board. And I can tell you, without Pat Halloran, I would not be where I am today. So not only is he my mentor, not only has he taught me on how to be a better and effective, hopefully, communicator as I promote this city, but Pat, you've touched the lives of many, many people in this community. I don't know anybody that is more deserving of the Communicator of the Year than you. You're a dear friend, and this city owes you a debt of gratitude. Ladies and gentlemen, our Communicator of the Year, Mr. Pat Halloran.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. George and Kevin, I'd like you to write my obituary. Do it now while it's fresh on your mind, because I've been around a long time. I do appreciate this award very much. It means a lot to me because of my friends like Les Dale and Kevin and others who have received this award previously. It's a significant occurrence in my life. 25 years ago, I attended this luncheon. Maybe it was 35 years ago. I attended this luncheon, and a gentleman that I was very, very fond of, and he supported me when I ran for mayor and supported me when I took over at the Orpheum Theater, by the name of William Matthews, who was the chairman and president and CEO of Union Planters Bank, and he accepted this award. And I will tell you this, of all the speeches and all the presentations that I've heard over my lifetime, I remember every word of his acceptance speech. Every single word. After this long, lengthy introduction, just like George and Kevin offered for me, Bill Matthews stood up, he came to the microphone, and he said, "Annie," and he sat down. I remember every word of that speech. The next day, Union Planters announced the first ATM card in the country, Annie. And I will never forget that. Now that's a Communicator of the Year. And the man knew what he was doing, and a phenomenal individual. I'd like to recognize two people that haven't been recognized, and I thank those that have recognized my family and my great staff and board members. But in 1980, after I'd lost the mayor's race, I wasn't employed, and I was thinking about becoming a consultant, because that's what people do when they're unemployed. And I was asked to talk to the people that had just courageously saved the Orpheum Theater and had gone in when it was a decrepit, dirty, foul building. I mean, you cannot imagine how bad the theater was in 1980. And it had been closed for many years. And a lady by the name of Lucia Gilland was the current, at that time, what we call now the chairman of the board. And she invited me and her executive committee to come and visit them about the possibility of my helping them raise the money to renovate the theater. And I said, I don't see myself operating a theater. I don't think that's my life's calling. I'm going to be president someday, and I'm not going to be able to leap from the Orpheum to that position. But we talked and talked, and the more I heard, the more I got excited, and they offered me the job. And Lucia Gilland, who was the chairman of the board at that time, she'd been recognized, had enough charity in her heart to hire me. And Linda Shea, who was the following chairperson, was on that committee, and they're both with us today, and I'd like them to stand up, please. Linda Shea and Lucia Gilland. This award, and I'm not going to take very long because the best communication is a short communication, but I will say this. This award means a lot to me because not so much of what I am receiving at this time. This venture that we have been on at the Orpheum has been unbelievable. And if I deserve an award, it should be an award for surrounding myself with a board of directors, with supporters and sponsors and donors, and a staff that is just phenomenal. a staff that comes to work every day and can't wait to delve into the challenges and the excitement and the pleasure that we bring to this community day after day. I have had the best leadership from my board of directors, our board of directors, year after year after year. They're so supportive. I can't remember in over 31 years, I can't remember once where they didn't support me. And sometimes they convinced me to change my thinking, and it turned out for the best, but they've been so supportive. The financial support we've received from individuals, from organizations and corporations, individually and in sponsorships, has made the Orpheum what it is today. We took a building that, quite frankly, was the ugliest building in town and made it what I think is the most beautiful building in town. And we've spent about $35 million just renovating, improving, and expanding the theater. And that doesn't count the millions and tens of millions that it takes to just change the light bulbs and maintain the theater. And it takes a real village to pull together and make that sort of an effort successful. So you, because you are supporters, you come to the theater, you've given me this opportunity to tell our story. You are part of that team, you're part of that village, and I thank you for that. I don't know how many of you watched the Golden Globes the other night, but Morgan Freeman, who I have met a few times and admired tremendously, I consider him very much a Mid-Southerner since he lives in Mississippi. He said when he received an award that if you love what you do, you never go to work. And that's really the way we feel at the Orpheum. If you love what you do, you really never go to work. You just love what you do. And so the staff that's with me today, they are absolutely terrific. My friends in this room that have supported us in so many ways have made a significant impact on our community. I'm anxious to tell you that the future looks greater than the past, than the present. What Kevin alluded to and George alluded to in our new educational center is going to be a phenomenal adventure. 100,000 kids from 5 to 20, from preschool to college, are going to learn how to develop themselves individually and to learn more about themselves, the theater, and the city. It's not just a performing arts education facility. It's a development facility for our young people so they become better citizens. So I think that, along with the fact that we're bringing Memphis back in 12 months, is going to be a big shot in the arm. We do have one of these buttons for everybody in the room. It is something that my wife and I designed, and it's got a heart, and one out of every 1,000 pins has a real diamond, so we don't know who's going to get the real diamond. And if you believe that, I'm going to sell you some stock in a company I wish I didn't own. And we also have another booklet called Passport. This is another one of the projects that came from Kenneth Rogers and the development and the marketing team at the office, where we are supporting other attractions in the city and promoting getting Memphians off the sofa and getting them to go see the Civil Rights Museum and go to Graceland and go to Sun Studio and go to the Dixon and go to the Brooks. And this is just one of our community efforts at the Orpheum. We are so much more than Broadway chandeliers and gold leaf. We are so much more because of you and what you expect of us and what we've been able to provide a great community. So thank you very much.